Hello there and happy Thursday, everyone. It's Caroline Milton with Milton Coaching Collective. Thanks for tuning in live today or watching us on replay. It's great to be here for our weekly episode of Engineer Your Energy. I'm the owner of Milton Coaching Collective, and in Milton Coaching Collective, we provide individual and corporate burnout prevention and stress management support. And today I want to talk about specifically in organizations. What is the issue that's causing rampant burnout within organizations? Because it can be linked back to one thing. Any guesses on what that one thing is? If I had a drum, I would certainly drum roll right now. But what all workplace burnout has in common is an unequal distribution of job demands versus job resources. Okay, so when we talk about burnout, we typically talk about burnout because I have too much work on my plate. I feel like there's so much pressure. We're short staffed and I'm doing too much. Or perhaps we talk about a lack of recognition, or we talk about microaggressions or unfairness in the workplace. And yes, those are all contributing factors. They're also considered to be job demands. Hey, everyone's job comes with demands. We know that in various different seasons that there will be higher demand or perhaps lesser demand on our work. But what leads to burnout is, in fact, more job demands than there are resources. So let's talk through what each of these categories entails. Some examples of job demands include a lack of autonomy, high workload and pressure from the organization, especially with inadequate staffing, a lack of support from leaders and or our colleagues. So how is our team functioning, and are we giving as much support as we're receiving? Unfairness and microaggressions in the workplace, not allowing the people around us to show up and work the way that they work best, right? There could be a disconnect of values and a lack of recognition. So those are kind of the big job demands. And yes, there are more extensive lists of job demands, but those are typically the top 6 or 7 that are contributing to workplace burden and workplace burnout. And let's shift then into talking about what some of those job resources are that can help balance the job demands and ensure that we're not getting a high prevalence of burnout within our employee population and therefore losing high talent, quality talent to our competitors or to other industries altogether. So those job resources that your employees need include high quality relationships with colleagues, receiving that social support that they need while they're doing their job and in between doing their job. That doesn't mean that your employees need to be best friends outside of work, but there does need to be a culture that's fostered of collaboration and building the necessary components of relationships. Next is decision authority and participation. So, are you giving members of your team the opportunity to participate in decisions that impact their work? Next is feedback. And this is something that every manager should be so proficient in, which is the ability to give constructive feedback without heightened emotion, right? Many of us have been on the receiving end of a rant from a boss or from an employer. Those are not constructive forms of feedback. So setting up consistent ways of providing constructive feedback that, yeah, includes some decision authority as well. Next on the job resources list is autonomy and job control, and the ability that as we get more comfortable and secure in our role, we are given more autonomy. So being micromanaged is a burden. Being able to build trust within your teams that they are working within their zone of genius is going to lead to more autonomy and more ability to influence what it is that your job is responsible for. Next on our list is development opportunities, right? So many people look around their organizations and they say, I don't know where I go from here. And that lack of motivation can lead to burnout because they don't hold a vision for what's next, for what they're working towards. And when they don't have an alignment with values of the organization, that can really undercut motivation on a daily basis. You should be providing support as a leader within your organization. So that should be a top down approach. Every leader should be providing support. What tools and resources does my team, does my organization need in order to function optimally? How am I seeking feedback to ensure that we are providing the right support and not just assuming the support that our employees need? Next is meaningful work. Yeah, we all want to show up on a daily basis and do meaningful work, regardless of what industry we work in. We want to know that our work matters because so often when we experience burnout, we're asking that question of why am I even here? It doesn't feel like my work matters. So, as a leader of a team, as a member of a team, seek to understand the meaning behind the work. Even if the meaningful work is, I get to provide for my family, I get to provide security and safety for my children, for my pets, for my partners, whatever that might be. With that comes impact. I want to know that the work that I'm doing is impactful. Otherwise, why are we here? And finally, on the job resources list, again, it goes beyond just these that I've listed, but is role clarity. So often I talk to people who tell me, I don't even know what my job is anymore because I'm doing the work of other people. This is true for managers as well. And I know was true for me when I worked as a maintenance manager, was oftentimes I felt like I was just picking up the pieces of what everyone else had left behind and that the clarity of my role was inexistent. I was just pretty much the garbage disposal. And in fact, garbage disposal is a term I hear often from clients. So being able to provide role clarity and receive role clarity is crucial for ensuring that we feel supported and that we have the right resources to do our work well. So I'd love to hear from you. What really stood out to you on this list of job demands or on this list of job resources? Does it give you something to think about, whether you are a manager of a team or not a manager of a team, but are currently experiencing some level of burnout? Drop it in the comments or DM me. Let's talk about it and what you need in order to feel like you're truly solving your burnout problem. Later this month, I'm going to have some really exciting guests. So make sure that if you're not already following me, that you do so to be abreast of every notification when we're going live. But we go live every Thursday at noon. So that's an easy way of remembering it. Again, if you're watching live today or watching on replay, thank you for being here. Drop a comment. Let me know that you're here so I can say hello. We'll see you next week.